So, they made some updates to Judge. Actually, the updates are already live when I recorded last night's video. I didn't really notice it till after the fact. Because before they announced it, it's really weird. Sometimes they announce that changes are coming, but then implement them like almost immediately without like telling us. Like they say these changes will go live here, and then they update before then. I really wish they'd be like, hey, it's gonna go live at this time, and and then they update it like a random time in the middle of the night. And I didn't happen to know. I thought I saw a bit off when I was doing this video, but I didn't catch it that he was updated already. But anyway, we're gonna talk about his updates. Where can I find him? So, what they did, they increased the damage on his Ion Cyclone, like his ult. There's some more damage here. This has a higher magic modifier. It's now 135%. It goes up from like, I think 115%. This, see the debuff, like, I think this one got adjusted a little bit. This is the big change for him, though, is that his ult now has a chance to slow enemies for 1 second. So for each time the cyclone, for each electric jolt, and there's 4 jolts. So there's a chance to do 4 1-second slows to the enemy team. I assume those are stackable, but I'm not sure. What this can do is this can make note that this can make it easier for him to strip an ode to serenity buff. That's true. Like if his ult goes off and the enemy team has ode to serenity up, this will usually dispel it. There are some exceptions, like if they don't have a full team, or maybe like a couple of purifying sphere 2 up. Nebula has a buff up or whatever that can also block in addition. Other situations like this is not a right. Someone said he's not a hard counter Sebastian. This is the only ability he has that does status effects is his ult. So the only time he can do that is when he has full energy. Slow is not stun. Slow is not silence. It will slow down energy gain, but it will not stop Sebastian from getting energy again and putting a new ode and removing the slow effect. This can make it easier to strip ode, but again, it's only when he does his ult. So you'll have to probably, if you wanted to use this as a counter to Sebastian, your best bet is to use it as, right, like I said, in manual, you have a lot more success with manual. Then you can try following up with like a old stun ult or whatever. For general use, though, he's probably not going to be your best answer to Sebastian. For most people, like honestly, for a lot of times that go to Ode Stripper, like if you put Leanne with Axel as your pet, like Leanne's passive will usually strip off Ode probably better than most heroes can. If you have Axel's Bubbles of Justice up, this disability is probably one of the most effective ways to counter Sebastian. Another way is to use Maya. Actually, Maya's way over here with Biscuit Patronage, because all of her abilities are AE damage, right? So this is AE plus all the status effects of her own. Like, so this is, with Biscuit, this will be much more effective at stripping Ode than Judge. So I wouldn't say Judge is a real strong counter Sebastian. Like, he does strip off Ode, or he can, but he can only do when he ults. Like I said, there's other heroes who can do it much more frequently, much more actively. So that's probably not going to be your best. Your best thing, though, is how effective he is at using how much damage he does with ult. I did some battles in the brawls in that video. You could check that video out. I'll link it down below. But check out the brawls, because I do talk about the brawls in detail, but you can see that he does do some damage. He's not doing as much damage as Lars with his Lars Lightning doing more. Rora's top DPS. So I'm skeptical. Like I said, he'll probably be better. A lot of it's really like if he's gonna be useful or not, I think comes down not from his ult, not from his ability to strip out. Like, right, there's better heroes for that. Like I said, a lot of it I think will come down to his defensive abilities. He has his barrier, like he's way at the bottom. Like his force field. This absorbs damage they take. Says any damage, so this can absorb pure damage. So he could be a counter to pure damage heroes. This might be the main reason you'd want to use him, but I don't know if it's strong enough. It might have needed a bigger boost than it got, but we'll see. In this one, Removes all debuffs from himself and activates the hologram. When Judge takes damage or receives a debuff, the hologram grants him invincibility. For 1 second, converts any damage taken to health. This is, like I said, an interesting ability because it prevents, Ray said, it like prevents him from getting debuffs easily. Like, it's probably, like I said, right, this is, don't underestimate, this is probably, like I said, remove debuffs. Like, debuffs are one of the most powerful ability types in the game, which is why heroes like Sebastian are so ubiquitous. Being able to, like I said, it's only on himself, though, but being able to debuff, it can be relevant. You know, he does seem to do pretty good damage to the Cyclone. It does seem to be pretty upgraded. He does have a lot more DPS. And he did change his artifact, so he has a magic penetration artifact. Right, so this was what Ray said it used to be apparently the health book, the health magic book that you see like Martha have or whatever. That a lot of heroes have, like who else? Like this one, like Helios, this one. That was the artifact he had. He had the Tomb of Arcane Knowledge. They changed it to the Magic Pen book, the Manuscript of the Void, which has the penetration instead. So he has some magic penetration. His weapon still magic attack, which is fine. Magic attack's good. He can buff magic attack. They did give him some new ascension abilities, so we'll look at those. So this makes his force field more powerful. Cast a shield on the ally close to the enemies, which absorbs any damage they take. Right, upon destruction, the force field produces an electrical surge, stuns enemies nearby for 5 seconds. So this will make him a bit better. Right, so this is, like I said, now gives him a second AE ability. That has a status effect that has, like, so this is something now that can make him a bit better versus Sebastian. It's a really short duration stun though, so like that's a half a second stun, so that's really just, I mean, it exists pretty much to try to counter Sebastian. And as I said, they kind of, I feel like they're trying to raise him to countering Sebastian, but again, then he has this one, Alicia Store of Eileen, so this just upgrades his Alien Cyclone. Right, it adds an innate stun to the Ion Cyclone, so which this is better than the slow, so this actually makes it a bit better. But this, you'll need a lot of investment in a Judge to get him up to here. But this is where he has some potential. Like, it's gonna be hard to really test this. Like, what I've seen in brawls, like, yeah, we could do some testing in brawls. I guess that's why they let you have brawls, so you could do some testing. I'm still skeptical that he'll be the go-to Sebastian counter when you have Leanne and Maya doing it so well already, and generally, they're probably better heroes, but this does have some potential. I think real potential. It's just being like, you know, that he's definitely has some potential. He'll definitely be better, right? And they didn't screw up, like they didn't change his position. Like this is a much better rework than it is Lilith. They nerfed Lilith. Like, I don't see Lilith anymore. Like, I would occasionally see Lilith in Guild Wars stuff. Like, no one uses Lilith anymore. They nerfed her. They should honestly undo that change, like, or whatever. Like, they messed up with Lilith. But Judge is actually promising. I don't think he'll necessarily be OP, but he might actually get played. But you will need a lot of investment to really get value out of him. That is the downside, because you really want to make his old stun to really get a lot of value. You need the stun here, the stun upgrade. Otherwise, you know, your value with him is going to be pretty meh. So, that's, like I said, that's kind of my thoughts on this. I hope you guys found this video informative. Thank you for watching.